Because my wife is very particular about cleanliness, our current table is big and heavy, and moving it to clean underneath is really hard. So I needed a table that is small, lightweight, strong because we have kids, easy to assemble and deassemble, and beautiful too. These were all the requirements and rules the client had set for me, and I had to design based on them. That was the biggest challenge of the job. Because a family with 2 kids will be using this table, and they didn't want me to use any chemical materials like epoxy resin. And also I like this crack and feel it should be part of my design. I decided to use an old technique with all the challenge it brings and fill it with wood chips. For strength and to keep the crack from growing, I'm adding a butterfly joint underneath the tail. Look at the design of this beautiful craft. What's the biggest challenge in woodworking? If you ask me, one of them is definitely opening and closing the clamps. It takes 8 to 12 hours for the boards to fully bond and become a single flat surface. I made a jig for butterfly. You can see its video on my channel and easily make one for yourself. For the extra strength in the crack I repaired, I'm using a butterfly joint on the back of the piece. As you saw in the video, unfortunately, the boards had a lot of bump, and if I tried to plane both sides flat, I would have lost too much thickness. So I decided to flatten only the top surface, and for the spots underneath that weren't perfectly level, I used a patchwork techniques to make them flush. The result is amazing, and in fact, this technique is sometimes used on the top surface purely for decoration. My handmade all-purpose jig looks kind of silly, but it looks great. I finished the tabletop with sanding, and then come the main challenge: building a base that's strong, beautiful, lightweight, and easy to assemble. How is that even possible? Eventually I sketched something, and I hope the client likes it. I'm transferring my design symmetrically onto my templates, so I can reproduce it in any quantity with exactly the same dimensions. Before I start cutting the curves, I make our long tenon, which is the key to the table straight. Just like that, in a few steps, it's made exactly like the template. Now, it's time to cut the tenon. One of the best and most satisfying moments in woodworking. I drilled these holes to attach the base to the tabletop. Finally, the moment I've been waiting for since the very beginning. Flawless, beautiful, and sturdy legs. I'm preparing the joints where the two beams meet the base, so I can be assemble and deassemble. And finally, coating. I apply at least 2 coats for each product.